Tonight, chaos in Parliament over 2024 budget as majority stages a walkout, accusing the Speaker of bias following his call for a head count after an earlier declaration that the budget statement and economic policy has been passed by a voice vote.
Then you have a Speaker making a U-turn, a sudden U-turn to say that no, he didn't add that the ayes have it. He just expressed an opinion. You're all there, you heard him loud and clear. And that's most unfortunate. That's most unfortunate. So we think that the proper thing should be done. So we raise these preliminary issues.
Majority Leader claims the Speaker's delayed tactics was because of the absence of 5 minority MPs.
What is happening is that there are 5 members of the minority who are not here. Ayarga is not here, Sam George is not here, Ezanoto is not here, Ajekum is not here, and Jechikwesin is not here. There are 5 of them who are not here. All that the Speaker is doing is playing for time to enable them to find a way to enter the chamber. What kind of thing is this?
We'll hear from the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, who claims the 2024 budget has been approved.
I mean, usually everything is an opinion in a sense, if you want to define it as such. And so there's a challenge, there's a walkout, the Speaker has come back, he's adjourning it till tomorrow, maybe to hear that application. But as we sit today, what you have is that he believes that the ayes have it. And that's what I'm taking out from here.
But the Minority Leader insists the 2024 budget has not been approved.
We have got them and we'll get them again another day. We will not stop there. We will do whatever we have to do. Our motion is still in place. We are challenging the voice vote. The Speaker has ruled. So as we speak, the budget has not been approved.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone.
You don't have the floor.
If you want to entertain,
you don't have the floor.
For a head count,
you don't have the floor. You don't have the floor.
Head count on their side since they are challenging.
You don't have the floor.
You know the bill.
You don't have the floor. You don't have the floor.
And we are leaving the chamber for them. Yes, we are leaving the chamber for you. Now do the head count and see whether you have the number to overturn Mr. Speaker's ruling.
Well, sounds of away in Parliament today, another sign of chaos and drama in the House as the majority side staged a walkout, accusing the Speaker of bias following his call for a head count after an earlier declaration that the 2024 budget statement and economic policy has been passed by a voice vote. Majority Leader Osechi Mensah told the media immediately after the walkout that the Speaker's delayed tactics was essential and timed, so 5 minority members can be arranged to get into the House to participate in what was shaping out to be a very important vote.
To challenge, he would have then to come with a challenge first. The member just got up and said that on account of Order 1132, he's inviting the Speaker to do a head count. That was not a challenge. So that was the issue the Deputy Leader raised. Then along the line, as we traveled, the Speaker then said, well, he made a declaration, he expressed an opinion that he thought that the ayes have it. So the member could challenge it. You are all there. You're all there. You heard the Speaker loud and clear. Why should a Speaker beat such a hasty retreat from what he had said? He said to us that he thought, and I'm quoting him, that I think the ayes have it. That is how speakers make pronouncements and determination. I think the ayes have it. And if he's convinced and persuaded, then he go further to say that the ayes have it. Or maybe, I think the noes have it. The noes have it. That's how it's done. Once you say the noes have it, then the determination has been made. In this this case, he said, I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Then you have a speaker making a U-turn, a sudden U-turn to say that no, he didn't add that the ayes have it. He just expressed an opinion. You're all there, you heard him loud and clear. And that's most unfortunate. That's most unfortunate. So we think that the proper thing should be done. So we raised these preliminary issues. However, when the dust settled, we said, okay, let's take the vote in spite of the initial objections that we had raised. Let's take the vote because he was insisting on the head count. Then we said, okay, we are available. Take the head count. What is happening is that there are 5 members of the minority who are not here. So all that he's doing, what was he waiting for? And for good about 30 minutes, what was he waiting for? And for good about 30 minutes, he's not doing anything. He's sitting down there. What's the import of it?
And now adopting a division procedure.
And now he says that, oh, we should get up and then go and write your name and then vote. That is a division. Did Ama Kofi Buah call for a division? He said he was calling for a head count. So the speaker now wants to inject himself to say that no, it's a division. What kind of attitude is this? And that is why we left the chamber for him. That let him do his own thing. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the import of what you have done.
And it's still boiling in Parliament. I'll bring in my parliamentary correspondent pretty quickly. But as you heard there, a few names were mentioned. And the suggestion is that the Speaker was simply delaying so these individuals can come in and back the minority numbers. One of them is Sam George. He is the Member of Parliament for Ningo Prom Prom. Joins us on the line right now. Mr. George, so where were you?
I was in Parliament. I was sitting right there in Parliament. In fact, I got to Parliament before Mensah also. This morning, when Parliament started, and if you ask your parliamentary correspondent, he will tell you we had visitors to Parliament from a group calling itself the Parliamentary Youth Impact Parliament from O Central, Honorable Kodo's constituency. And the Speaker introduced them. And when the Speaker introduced them, I even asked the Speaker to find out from them who is their Speaker, since they say they are Parliament. And a gentleman in blue suit in the gallery raised his hand. I was in the chamber. And so, like I said, it looks like the Parliamentary Service Board will have to take care of the medical bills of the Honourable Mensah and get him new spectacles. It appears the spectacles are defective.
In the votes and proceedings, your name was captured and the attendance sheet and all?
Well, you will see the votes and proceedings for today tomorrow. And you will see if my name is captured there. Because, like I said, your parliamentary correspondent was there. You can ask him if what I am talking about my engagement with the Speaker this morning, asking to know who the Speaker of the Youth Impact Parliament was. It was captured there. So, for anybody to suggest that I was not in Parliament today, the person must have their eyes checked. And we must even begin to check their mental faculties properly.
Were you absent from the floor at any time?
Oh, I mean, nobody sits in the chamber from morning till evening. So yes, I did go to my office. But when the bell was rung, I came back. When the bell was rung, when it was time for us to take the vote, I came back to the chamber.
Okay, as we speak right now, the budget. There's a controversy now around. Has it been approved? Has it not been approved?
The budget has not been approved. The NPP, again, has walked out for the second in 4 years. Walked out on their own budget. I mean, this is disgraceful. It's unheard of. It's unheard of. The NPP, twice in 4 years, has walked out on their own budget. Look, if Sam George was not present, if Zaneto was not present, Ajikum was not present, Jati Kwesi is not present, Nayarika is not present, and names they are calling, why don't they go ahead with the vote? Then it means they have outstanding numbers. They should vote. If they have their members, then it means we are 5 less. Why have they run away from their budget? The argument they make that I am still in the US, in New York, when I returned from Ghana, and anybody can check. Anybody can check from the airport my travel records to see when I got back into the country. Yesterday, on Monday, I was in the chamber. Yesterday, I had flooding in my constituency. I went to my constituency and came back to the chamber at 6 p.m. So if you take the order paper for today, you will see that I was marked present because I came back into the chamber at 6 p.m. I even walked into the chamber in my Wellington boots. And I was being asked by then the second deputy speaker, Andrew Isiama, who was then presided. At the time, the debates were ongoing. So for anybody to suggest that Sam George is in New York and is not in Ghana, except there are two Sam Georges.
Mr. George, please stay with me. I want to bring in my parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asante. Kweku, on this subject of the 5 names that were mentioned, very controversial one. You were in Parliament. You saw Sam George there?
Yes, Evan, Sam George has been in Parliament since the very start of sitting today. In fact, the situation he referenced when some visitors were acknowledged in the House, he was the one who asked who the speaker of that group of parliamentarians who were student parliamentarians were, and he was there. Mahama Yaga, I have not seen him. That equation, we know he's actually out of the country, and the other MPs that Oseche Mensah mentioned. But when it comes to Sam George, he was in Parliament, within the premises of Parliament. In fact, he actually addressed a press conference at some point of this ongoing brouhaha in the House. But the situation is also that there are some missing majority MPs. The Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister is not around. Kennedy Japan is also not in Parliament. And a number of them that the minority are also alleging have also not been in the House. So it's been allegation and counter-allegations of both sides. The situation is, it's a little bit difficult to unravel because the Speaker of Parliament has made a previous ruling that if you are within the precincts of Parliament and you are not even on the floor of the House, you are in Parliament. So it is tomorrow when we get the votes and proceedings that we can confirm that all these individuals I've mentioned from PP and NDC side were not truly in the House. But when it comes to Sam Nati George, MP for Ningo Pram, I saw him with my naked eyes. He has been on the floor since morning.
The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, and his deputies, they were present. He interacted with the media. What's his point on this?
Yes, at some point when the majority leadership decided that they were going to walk out, you could clearly see frustration in the eyes of the Finance Minister, who did not know whether he was joining them to leave or not. He stayed on the floor together with his deputies for a while before they joined their colleagues. And when he came out to address journalists, his position was that the voice vote that approved the 2024 budget stands. Although there's a challenge, no decision has been taken on that minority challenge yet.
I mean, usually everything is an opinion in a sense, if you want to define it as such. And so there's a challenge, there's a walkout, the speaker has come back, he's adjourning it till tomorrow, maybe to hear that application. But as we sit today, what you have is that he believes that the ayes have it. And that's what I'm taking out from here.
That means if that challenge is not resolved, January 1, you are going into the consolidated fund to spend.
No, I'm going to the consolidated fund because the ayes have it.
That means that are you disappointed the majority MPs walked out? Are you disappointed the majority MPs walked out on their own budget?
No, I haven't really made a declaration of that. Yeah. So thank you very much indeed. But the ayes have it, and we have a budget for the country.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kweku, the minority leader addressed this. What's his position?
Yeah, shortly afterwards, the minority leader, Dr. Kesela Sofosin, says there's absolutely no way the finance minister is right that this budget has gone through. And as far as they are concerned, that has not been approved. The finance minister cannot go ahead and lay his hands in the public kitty and draw funds to spend. Listen.
We have got them, and we'll get them again another day. The fact remains that the MPP does not have the numbers to approve their own budget. And you bear as witnesses. You are here. You saw what happened. Everyone knows that the NDC members of parliament were ready to vote against the budget.
For good reasons.
For a very good reason. And we outlined as part of our concluding remarks why we are against this particular budget. Our position is simple. We cannot allow this budget to go through in its current form because the ordinary Ghanaian will be the one who will suffer. Ladies and gentlemen, the MPP sadly, sensing that they are not here, because obviously the deputy minister responsible for foreign affairs is not in town. Obviously the Honorable John Kuma, who is a deputy minister of finance, is also not here. And obviously the almighty Kennedy Japan, Mr. Showdown, is also not here. And sensing defeat, clearly, they decided to walk out in a very shameful manner. It is a shame. It is a shame. The Speaker has adjourned the House, but I can assure you, we will not stop there. We will do whatever we have to do. Our motion is still in place. We are challenging the voice vote. The Speaker has ruled, and the MPP is aware that when the Speaker makes a pronouncement and a ruling, they can only challenge that through a substantive motion. And on the 98 is clear on the matter. So as we speak, the budget has not been approved. So ladies and gentlemen, the budget has not been approved. So let everyone be aware and let the MPP MPs get it. They have lost it.
Yes.
They have lost it. Yes. They have lost the way and they have lost the mandate to do business in this House. But we want to conclude by saying that we live to fight another day, and tomorrow is another day.
So quickly, where are we tonight? There's a point, the sitting was adjourned.
Yes, sitting has been adjourned. The Speaker of Parliament, whilst all this brouhaha was unfolding and a number of people were outside, walked in to simply adjourn the House. But Evan, strictly speaking, if you go by the records of the House, the Finance Minister may be right, because the substantive vote that was put on the budget was whether or not members approved the budget, and the A's had it. There was a challenge. That challenge has not been decided on, and that is why the majority say until that determination is made, and they liken that to a process in the court, you go to a high court, there's a judgment. If you appeal, unless that determination is made at the appeals court or the Supreme Court, you cannot say that you have overturned the earlier judgment. So tomorrow, we expect that early in the morning, the first thing Parliament will do is to take this motion that has been moved by the minority, challenging the decision of the Speaker. There will be a head count. Whether it's going to be the normal head count where MPs stand up, the tables the clerk at tables go around to count, or the votes where MPs are mentioned by their names and their constituencies, and they have to identify themselves. That is what the Speaker of Parliament wanted to do, and that is what the majority leadership said was clearly an aberration of the rules of the House, and had to walk out. And tomorrow, that fight will continue.
I mean, Mr. George, so with me, Sam George, tomorrow when this comes down to a vote, I mean, now the majority side has a time to bring in their members, Indian numbers to vote. You concede this time frame gives them the upper hand?
Well, that's what they are spoiling for. But I can assure you that tomorrow we'll take a vote and we'll prevail.
How so? What makes you so confident?
Their members are not in town. Except they're going to send private jets tonight to pass parts of the world to bring their members in. Their members are simply not in town.
Well, that's possible, is it not? I mean, we've seen in Parliament where people who are not well were brought in ambulances.
Well, it's up to them to bring in their members, but we would be ready tomorrow with our full numbers, and we stand in our position. We'll vote against this budget because this budget is unconscionable, imposes taxes on the Ghanaian people in a draconian manner. We will not stand for that.
What about this technical issue of the Speaker's pronouncement following the voice vote? That's something a hurdle you need to cross to.
No, listen, Evans, and I heard Kweku do the High Court, Appeal Court thing. If I take a case to the High Court and a ruling is given, for example, it was a land case and a ruling is given, when I go on appeal, the first thing I will do will be to get an injunction that arrests the original ruling, because you don't want anything to change the substantive case you are doing. And so if you have a voice vote where the Speaker says, I think the ayes have it, and you arrest the motion, in fact, that is the phrase we use in Parliament, you arrested the process. And in arresting the process, you challenge it using a legitimate process, and the Speaker begins the process of the challenge. It's a different thing if the Speaker did not begin it. He begins the process. He actually calls for the head count. So the process of challenging the original decision has commenced. So once that challenge has commenced, you cannot say that you have a ruling. So your ruling is in abeyance. And so if the finance minister, without us concluding this vote, wants to spend from the consolidated fund, he will be in breach of the law. He will be a candidate for jail.
What for you as a member of parliament for Nego Prom, what in this budget is so distasteful that you're determined to shoot it down, considering that you had floods in your area? This is a budget that is devoting more than 200 million to fix the flooding challenge in the Volta and other places. You may
that hasn't involved Nego Prom. So the budget allocations for flooding is neither here nor there. And even when it comes to allocation, there's a difference between allocation, approval, and disbursement, especially under this government. So until you see disbursement, you don't get excited about it. But the sheer level of taxes, the reintroduction of taxes on the Ghanaian people, real estate taxes, taxes on financial services, for example. I mean, it is mind-boggling the kinds of taxation elements that have been brought in there under this budget. And it's just unquestionable. At a time when you saddle Ghanaians with so much hardship, you've given them haircuts. You want to impose further taxes that will kill businesses. And at the time you're imposing taxes on Ghanaians, you are giving tax holidays. You are giving tax exemptions to your family and friends, to cronies of government. I mean, why should we do this? Why should we accept it? Because why should he pay more taxes while the president's friends and cronies are getting tax exemption? It is wrong for us as MPs to do that to you even.
But isn't that a separate matter that the committee is dealing with at that level? From what I understand, the exemptions are being dealt with at the finance committee level.
It is not a separate matter. It is all one, that they brought it together. Those are part of the tax measures and things that they brought. The trade ministry is bringing this one and trying to pass it through. In fact, we wanted to pass it yesterday. And so at a time when you are imposing taxes in the budget, you cannot be giving tax exemptions to your friends and cronies. No. We won't accept it. All Ghanaians also deserve to get tax exemption. All Ghanaians deserve to get tax exemption. So Akufo-Addo and Bawumia cannot give tax exemptions to their cronies and family and friends and ask the rest of us to pay more taxes. No, that's unconscionable. It is immoral.
You say so? Is that the only reason for this, and the main reason? Because I've heard the minority leader also makes the same reference to this tax exemption. Is that the main reason?
No, but Ivan, you think this is not reason enough?
I'm just.
What will be reason enough for you?
Thankfully, we can bring in the deputy majority leader, Alexander Fenyomarkin, joins us right now. Mr. Fenyomarkin, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Good evening, sir.
Great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. So why did the majority side stage a walkout when your own budget is before the House?
Our budget had passed. The Speaker put the question and he said the ayes have it. Quoting him, the ayes have it. And he gavelled and somebody raised a challenge. As far as we are concerned, the procedure that Mr. Speaker adopted by saying that he was going to deal with the appeal process on the floor through a procedure of division was unknown to us, because the applicant himself had come under the 1132, which application he upheld in spite of my objection to the fact that there was no such challenge to his ruling or opinion on the voice vote. Fundamentally, there must be a challenge on it. Then that will be the primary stage. And the second stage of procedure will be that upon the challenge, an application will be mounted, which application, per his discretion, will direct how that challenge has to be executed. Now, he decided to let go of that, and he said, well, to him, he would consider the application. Be that as it may, we were of the view that per that procedure, there was supposed to be a head count. So if he was doing something contrary, and he was not in any case ready to hear us, then the appropriate thing to do was to leave the chamber. In any event, as it is now, the budget has been passed. It is the appeal to the decision which is pending. So we have nothing to lose, and we've lost nothing. It is somebody's appeal which is hanging. But as far as we are concerned, the budget was passed at the time he gavelled. So that's the point.
In other words, this appeal process, which, and indeed, from what we've heard, this is what will be determined tomorrow when the House resumes.
Well, we don't know. The appeal does not operate as a stay on the decision by the House on the budget. The finance minister is home and dry. His budget has been passed. The budget of the government has been passed. We passed it as a parliament, save that somebody has mounted an appeal. It doesn't operate as a stay on the decision of the House. There is no such practice that when somebody mounts an appeal or somebody challenges, let me put it in plain language, somebody challenges an opinion of Mr. Speaker on a voice vote, until that is determined, the decision is placed on ice. There's no such thing. So, for us as majority, we have nothing to lose. In any event, today, they didn't have the equation in the chamber at the time. They were challenging the decision of the House. They didn't have Dr. Zenato Ajiman-Rawlings. They didn't have Honorable Ajekum. At the time, they also did not have Honorable Ayerga. He is not in the jurisdiction. I mean, he was not in the chamber. They did not have Honorable Sam George in the chamber. But I must be honest to say that when the House was suspended, I saw him, on the corridors of Parliament. But at the time, Mr. George, he was not in the chamber.
Mr. George.
And then another. Can I finish? With respect? And another member whose name I don't readily remember. I can finish you with that later, please.
Mr. George is emphatic, and our parliamentary correspondent.
I can't hear you. You said something.
Mr. George is emphatic, and our parliamentary correspondent confirms it, that he has been in the chamber throughout. When the bell was ringing, he was there.
Don't worry. I wouldn't want to argue that.
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying that I won't stretch that argument.
So
even if he was there, I mean, don't let me even. I mean, I saw him later. Granted that I didn't see him earlier. It's fine. Let me pull back that submission on Mr. Sam George. In fairness to him, let's deal with Dr. Zenato Rawlings. Let's deal with Dr. Honorable George Kwesi. He's been absent since Parliament resumed. He's been absent. And I must also be honest in conceding that on our side also, 3 of our members were unavoidably absent for good reasons. Okay? I'm not going to mislead the public. But whatever the case it was, we were more than them. And we won the day. So it's as simple as that. The record will show.
You stage a walkout. Will you be back tomorrow for this vote?
We were against a procedure being adopted. Like I said, there are means of challenging Mr. Speaker's decision. You call for a division, which call would result in calling of names. When you talk about a head count, we must all stand in our place per the procedure for that head count to be carried out. We were dissatisfied with that approach being adopted by Mr. Speaker, which approach was strange to the jurisprudence of the House. And we took a decision to go on. In any event, they acted in bad faith. Why didn't they go on to do their head count? They called for it. Why didn't they pursue the application? Because to us, even if they pursued the application, they needed a 138 to overturn the decision. They don't have the 138. So we are ready to face them any day on their so-called application. What they failed to realize is that the challenge they have mounted will require a certain figure, a certain number to overturn. That decision is gone. The decision on the budget is gone. It's cleared. We can come back to it. Now they need a 138 number to overturn. So it's basically an application be made in bad faith, it's odious, it would amount to nothing, it's for political mischief, and it will serve its convenient purpose for their political ends. We are not too bothered because they can never win.
That suggests to me that you will be back on the floor to vote against it in your numbers.
I am saying that they don't need us to vote against the application. We don't need to participate in the appeal process.
So tomorrow you'll be participating in that process?
I am saying that by the nature of the application that they have, they don't need us. And if they themselves want to consider the application in its form, context, and the outcome that they desire, they would know that they would not have what it takes to overturn the decision of the House. A decision has been made by Mr. Speaker. He gabbled. I perhaps would want you to play Mr. Speaker's voice on the proceedings where he said he was unsure of the decision of the voice vote. He took the voice vote for the second time. He said the ayes have it. I think the ayes have it. And the member got up, my respected colleague Ama Kofi-Buah got up and mounted an appeal under that rule, which he quoted, which I disagree with the greatest respect, but is challenging a decision of the House. Challenging a decision of the House, the Constitution and the rules of the House require a certain number, a simple majority to overturn a decision of the House. They don't have that simple majority to overturn a decision of the House. So we are not so bothered. We don't need to participate in the appeal process. If, as it were, we were mounting an appeal, if the Speaker had said the noes had it and we were mounting it, then we would now have to struggle and get our entire 138 to overturn, because we have it to overturn a decision. They don't have a simple majority to overturn a decision of the House. They don't have it, and they can never have it in this Parliament.
I mean, Mr. George, you can see the numbers are what it is. You don't have the numbers, and this is a futile exercise.
My respected senior leaves me wondering what the logic is. Evan, you are fighting in a boxing game, and you claim you have knocked down your opponent. He's on the floor. The referee is counting to 9. The referee gets to 8, and then you throw in the towel, or you lie on the floor as well and say, well, because I've knocked him down, I don't need you to finish counting. I mean, does this really make a lot of logical sense to you? I mean, my respected senior in the House is known for espousing very sound logic, but this doesn't fit into that bill. If they were sure that they had the numbers and that a head count where we verify the identity of everybody would not have exposed the fraud that the majority at some times in the past have conducted and perpetrated in the House. And that is what we wanted to cure by ensuring that we name everybody to identify everybody in the head count. That is what they ran away from. It is that mischief that the Speaker sought to cure by saying that everybody must be identified in the head count. Because we have had instances in that House where head counts are done and people have not been in the chamber, yet the majority has been able to have a certain number which is not representative of the numbers that they have. And these are real facts. And so this logic that they passed the budget, they had the numbers, yet they walked out, I mean, it doesn't hold any water. It's like fetching water with a bucket.
Ivan, can I come in something?
Yeah.
If going to my respected colleague can permit me.
Mr. Markin, yes.
Possible?
Mr. Markin, yes.
Can I? All right, thank you. So I do appreciate the metaphor in the submissions by my respected colleague, Sam George. I do appreciate that, and I say so for one simple reason. If they so felt that the appropriate means of getting justice through the appeal they mounted was through a division, what stopped them from mounting an appeal through the division process? There's a procedure on division. Why didn't they say so? You see, we are talking about a house of rules, conventions, practices. The House of Parliament has its own jurisprudence, which jurisprudence allows it to conduct a certain business. So you cannot go through a certain route and use another means to achieve that end. That is what we call them on. Procedure is as good as any means to achieve an end. You look at content, procedure, and prudence. Prudence will require procedure to achieve that end. If you get procedure wrong, forget it. And he knows, in our court, in our parliament, in any serious institution, organization of laws, procedure is critical. You may have your substance, but the procedure to get there is critical. If you are unable to lead evidence well, there is a case of theft, stealing, there is a case of murder. If you are unable to follow the procedure in calling your witnesses to establish prima facie evidence, you lose your case. You only be outside there crying, but in the court of law, use the procedure. So in the parliament, they were supposed to have used the appropriate procedure. You don't say that because of past experience of somebody, blah, blah, blah. That is why, in the wisdom of Mr. Speaker, although you had called for head count, Mr. Speaker had to use the procedure of division to achieve that for you. That is not possible.
And Mr. George, you concede the wrong procedure was used here?
Sorry, you were making a point.
No, sorry, I just want to get a quick word from Mr. George. Mr. George, you concede the wrong procedure.
Yes,
the wrong procedure was used here?
Sorry?
You concede the wrong procedure was used here?
Oh, this is not for Afenyo, the respected majority deputy leader, to determine what is right procedure or wrong procedure. And he knows, as a senior member of the House, that if he disputes the position of Mr. Speaker, because the person who decides whether the procedure used is right or wrong is not the majority leader or his deputy, or the minority leader or his deputy. It is the officer presiding. In this case, the Right Honourable Speaker. And the Right Honourable Speaker did not determine that the procedure used was wrong. And so it does not lie in the Honourable Afenyo Markin's mouth to determine the correctness or otherwise of the procedure. And he knows that if he wants to challenge the position of the Speaker in accepting our procedure as duly in line with the standing orders of the House, he has to come under a substantive motion. So I will be expecting to see if he would walk the talk from radio in the chamber tomorrow by coming with a substantive motion to challenge Mr. Speaker's ruling, because Mr. Speaker has ruled on the matter of procedure.
Yeah.
That's dispute.
Well, Mr. George,
that was a dispute,
Mr. George and Mr. Afenyo Marking, thank you very much. And I know certainly this will continue on the floor tomorrow, but we're out of time on this. I'm grateful that you both joined us. Alexander Afenyo Marking is the deputy majority leader, and you had Sam George, who is the member of parliament for Ningo Prom, as has been suggested earlier. He wasn't on the floor, but he says he was, and Afenyo Marking says you can see that. Well, as where we stand tonight, and Emefa Apawu is joining me, is that, well, minority says the budget hasn't been approved. The majority says the budget has been approved. This will be settled tomorrow. A very interesting day ahead, indeed. Still ahead.
Civil society reacts to bombshell claims by special prosecutor as he suggests some judges may have ganged up against him.
I have had several calls from well-meaning lawyers admonishing me that they have heard talk that our friends who have been elevated to the bench and presiding over cases in court do not take very kindly to criticism, especially of the public calling out variety as we do. And that if the office persists in the media releases, the judges will gang up against the office and throw out all our cases.
And he has been predicting doom as well.
It is also of the utmost importance that the judiciary should not interfere with investigation and prosecution authorities in respect of matters which are within their statutory powers. A judge has in the process granted 2 persons immunity from investigation and in effect immunity from prosecution. This decision opens up a calamitous deluge. Members of the press, I do not intend to sound as though I am predicting doom, but we are facing doom.
We'll also get to hear from parents and teacher unions as they push against government's planned reopening date for Form 1 students who are expected to report to school just 5 days after their placements were released.
What's the point asking children or school children to come to school on the 4th and then vacate when, because Christmas is on the 25th? Look at the cost involved. I don't think it makes sense. It's unrealistic.
We'll get to hear from the teacher unions who want government to postpone the reopening to 2024 because the decision is rushed. That and more in tonight's edition of Newsnight after the break. Please do stay with us.
Ever visited a shop, picked a whole basket of provisions, toiletries, and very essential things you need, battled a long queue to finally pay, only to be told you can't pay to a merchant number the way that thing they pay, but with Vodafone Cash, there is no problem. Now on Vodafone Cash, you can pay all merchants on all networks. Easy peasy. Aye straight. Aye direct. Aye sharp. From your Vodafone Cash wallet to any merchant number on other networks. So whether you are buying provisions or fuel, medication or food, whatever the service or need, just pay conveniently from Vodafone Cash to any merchant number. Simply dial *110# to make payment to merchants on other networks today.
Vodafone.
All right, can we do this together?
Get ready for an unforgettable evening of melodies and inspiration.
Join us at the University of Ghana Medical Center's car park for the Benefit concert on Friday, December 8, 2023.
Experience the harmonies of hope with performances by the incredible Joe Metal, Koda, Neokai, Joyful Way Incorporated, and the UGMC Choir.
This concert is in collaboration with Chango, the crowdfunding platform to raise 50 million Ghana cedis for an inpatient clinical trials unit, the first of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa.
Dial *887 *222# on all networks to support.
You can also support by going to the changoapp.com and searching for UGMC, or even going straight to the UGMC website.
For more information, call us on 0249 686396. See you there.
Ghana stands on the verge of an environmental and a health crisis. Our rivers, forests, and children are bearing the brunt of an illegal gold mining crisis. Their future, our legacy, at stake. Join us for an urgent national dialogue and a call to action following the eye-opening Joy News Hotline documentary, Poisoned for Gold. Together we gather experts, policymakers, and leaders united to save our land, our water, and our children. Be part of the solution. Tune in to Joy News, Joy FM, or join us online on the 4th of December, 4 p.m. at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Your voice matters in this fight for our nation's heart and health. Don't let this moment pass. Your engagement can change the future. This event is in partnership with the Ghana Chamber of Mines and WaterAid.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Keep buying your luckiest ticket with *712# as an individual, a group, an association, or even a community, and stand a chance of winning in the community draw or the ultimate draw on 23rd of December. Be the luckiest on *712# and win millions. Ticket sale starts on October 4th, 2023, and draw date is on 23rd December 2023. Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform. Win millions on *712#.
The luckiest, you could be the luckiest.
Staying with us here on Newsnight, we are live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM, affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on myjoyonline.com and all our social media platforms. We start with that bombshell press conference today held by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. In fact, the Special Prosecutor himself, Kisi Ejabing, addressed that press conference, and that has left civil society actors agitated. At that press conference, the Special Prosecutor raised concerns about the judiciary, the judges themselves ganging up against him in terms of the cases that are brought before him. You can listen to him talking about the court frustrating his work.
This policy is as novel as the office itself, and much like every aspect and operation of this office, the policy has generated public debate on its propriety or otherwise. Those who applaud this policy of transparency see it for what it is: public information and assurances of the position of the office on the fight against corruption, and nothing more. Those who decry it see it as an attack on the judiciary. Indeed, I have had several calls from well-meaning lawyers admonishing me that they have heard talk that our friends who have been elevated to the bench and presiding over cases in court do not take very kindly to criticism, especially of the public calling out variety as we do. And that if the office persists in the media releases, the judges will gang up against the office and throw out all our cases. Mind you, members of the press, the collective admonition is from very senior and experienced lawyers who are men and women of the world.
Well, he went on to give specific instances where he believes the judgments of the court raise serious fundamental questions.
And I do not say these things lightly. 4 instances will suffice. In one case, the OSP applied to the High Court for a confirmation of a freezing order in respect of a deceased person's estate. The judge refused to confirm the order by, in effect, holding that the OSP had come too late since the person of interest had died, and that his death had extinguished the inquiry commenced after the occurrence of death. We publicly commented on this outcome, and the danger of this outcome is obvious, members of the press. It is to the effect that the person may, in his lifetime, acquire property through corruption, and then upon his demise, happily pass on the corruptly acquired property to his estate, and by so doing, extinguish all scrutiny as to the propriety or otherwise of the acquisition of the property, because his corrupt activities were not discovered during his lifetime. In the second instance, the OSP had declared as wanted a person it believed to be a fugitive from justice. The person, through his lawyer, proceeded to the Human Rights Court on an ex parte application, and the judge, without even an inquiry as to why the OSP believed him to be a fugitive from justice, issued an injunction that the OSP should not arrest the person for a period of 10 days. Members of the press, this is dangerous. It encourages criminal suspects to go before the courts to seek injunction orders against law enforcement agencies from apprehending them. The judge did not advert his mind to the well-founded proposition that no one has the right not to be arrested, and he accorded the suspect a right not to be arrested. In the third instance, the OSP applied to the High Court for a confirmation of a seizure order and a freezing order in respect of a person who had just resigned from a ministerial position and had reported that large cash sums in foreign denominations had been stolen from her residence. In addition, the OSP subsequently discovered additional large cash sums in foreign denominations and cedis still stashed in her residence. The judge hastily dismissed the OSP's application and ordered a return of the seized amounts and the defreezing of her property. And he proceeded to lash out at the OSP for not doing a thorough investigation, without the slightest consideration that the seizure and freezing orders are designed by law to facilitate investigation into the affairs of suspects, and not the other way around of requiring thorough investigations before the OSP can seize or freeze. The judge also completely ignored the fact that in almost every jurisdiction, including Ghana, it is extremely unusual and highly suspicious for a public officer to have such large cash sums stashed in their homes, and that the circumstances of the case dictated pause and reflection and the granting of the OSP adequate time to carry out its investigation. In our estimation, the judge was only interested in the return of the money to the person of interest and nothing more. Then he proceeded to erect non-existent legal barriers to prevent the OSP from investigating the matter. I will revisit this case. Members of the press, in the fourth instance, the OSP had issued an investigation report in respect of the grant of a customs advance ruling by the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority. The report opined that there was an institutionalized culture of light-hearted unconcern regarding impropriety of action at the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority, which indicated a high propensity to engender corruption and corruption-related activities. Consequently, the special prosecutor directed the opening of a wider investigation in respect of the affairs of the Customs Division. Further, in pursuance of the office's mandate of taking steps to prevent corruption, the special prosecutor directed remedial action by Ghana Revenue Authority. The authority has instituted processes on the basis of the special prosecutor's directive, which has saved the nation substantial revenue. Then comes the problem. The affected customs officials proceeded to the High Court to challenge the work of the OSP. The judge accused the OSP of constituting itself into a court and a commission of inquiry by making findings. In doing so, the judge conveniently shut his eyes to an express statutory provision that the OSP has the mandate to publish detected acts of corruption, and that was exactly what the OSP had done in the report. I wish it had ended there, but worse. The judge then proceeded to prohibit the OSP from further investigating the affected persons.
Well, that's not all, Evans. He says judges should not be arrogating them to themselves the power to determine who is investigated.
Members of the press, the duty and mandate of the courts is to apply and enforce the laws of the Republic, and not to grant persons immunity from criminal investigations and prosecution. A court cannot enjoint the OSP from investigating or prosecuting any person. The decision to investigate and prosecute lies with the investigation and prosecution authorities, such as the OSP, and the OSP has at all material times carried out its power to investigate with candor and professionalism, being minded of the rights of suspects under its investigation. Members of the press, just as it is essential that anyone accused of a crime should have free access to the courts so that he may be duly acquitted if found not guilty of the offense with which he or she is charged, it is also of the utmost importance that the judiciary should not interfere with investigation and prosecution authorities in respect of matters which are within their statutory powers. It will be gravely inimical to public policy, the fight against corruption, and the administration of justice if the court stepped into this arena to decide who should be investigated, who should be prosecuted, and who should not. That is not the function of adjudication. The danger of this startling decision is again quite obvious. A judge has in the process granted 2 persons immunity from investigation, and in effect, immunity from prosecution. This decision opens up a calamitous deluge, as every person under criminal investigation will be encouraged to take out suits to injunct investigation and prosecution bodies from investigating and prosecuting them. Indeed, there is a live case involving the OSP now, in which someone has taken the cue to seek to injunct the OSP from investigating them. The real and present danger looms largely on the consideration that by so doing, persons under investigation would end up conscripting the judiciary to clothe them with immunity from investigation and prosecution. Members of the press, I do not intend to sound as though I am predicting doom, but we are facing doom, and this is it. With this development, it will not be long. A suspected murderer or armed robber would boldly walk to court with an unthinkable prayer that the court should injunct law enforcement agencies from investigating him.
I want to bring in Elton Broby. He was at that press conference, joins us live. Now, Elton, there's a fundamental question at the back of everything we've heard tonight. Is he staying or is he resigning?
Well, that's actually the question I put to him. And he makes the point that his lamentation does not in any way suggest that the OSP is infallible and that every case brought by the OSP or against the OSP should end in a favorable outcome, no matter how improbable the evidence. However, according to him, it seems to him that the flagship public agency created by law to fight corruption should receive better regard and consideration by the court. So is he going to run? His response was that which he is a loner, he sacrificed himself. When the time is due, he will move on.
And if you look at it and you decide that the evidence does not show up to the standard of proof required in criminal cases, then you can dismiss it. But don't prevent us from doing our work, from investigating. It is dangerous. As I said, I wasn't sounding as a prophet of doom, but there is doom looming ahead of us. And very soon, a murderer will boldly walk to court to seek an injunction. Should I feel frustrated and resign? I took an oath when I was sworn. And in my life, when I take on the reins to do something, I do it to the best of my ability. I ought him, 73. Those who do not understand me, please forgive me. They say I'm a young man. But they may cry about for it. Me had the me too. It was small.
And so that's the OSP there. He speaks fluent Chi.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an Akan. That's a song that later I'm sure that we'll get to play for Kisie Jabing shortly. But let me bring in Inusa Fuseni. They were one of the framers of this particular law, a creation of the OSP. And thankfully he joins us on the line. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight. So listening to the visibly pained, unhappy, frustrated special prosecutor, some have raised the concern about the avenue, the approach, and then the platform that he used. Is that a correct platform, you'd say?
Well, the platform is an unconventional platform. But that is what the officer of the special prosecutor is supposed to do. It's supposed to carry the people along in this attempt to fight corruption. And so it can use such platform. The law even envisages and anticipates that periodically he publishes reports on what he's doing to fight corruption. And he's carried it by adopting a platform that reviews in tandem all the work that he has done and the frustrations, lamentations, obstacles that he has faced in the performance of his duties.
But really, listening to critics of the OSP, for them, if a number of cases have gone before the judges, they've raised issues about not acting on hearsay and doing proper investigations before coming back. The issue about appeal then comes up. If the OSP has not exhausted all these avenues, including petitioning the Chief Justice for us to know, how then do we come out to accuse the judges in such manner is the concern.
Well, I am not saying that what the OSP has said is the gospel truth. There have been concerns about the work, the way he's gone about performing his responsibilities. But we should not lose sight of the fact that this country has now been inundated by corruption at all institutional levels, whether it's the court system, whether it's the executive, whether it's the parliament. The country has been inundated by corruption, and we all know that any attempt to fight corruption, corruption will fight back. And you don't know the way that corruption is going to fight back. Now, he's just preparing us, trying to get us to understand the difficulties he's going through. Now, to say that the special prosecutor cannot invoke, his jurisdiction cannot be invoked on hearsay evidence, is to miss the point. We, as Parliament, as members of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, have traveled to many jurisdictions. And that is why the special prosecutor is given wide powers. In fact, in Malaysia, we were given examples of cases that started on hearsay and led to prosecution. We were given examples of cases that happened after the corruption had been completed, but the sharing resulted in difficulty, which difficulty brought the matter up, and it resulted in prosecution. So clearly, in fighting corruption, you are fighting the canker. And any way that the special prosecutor's jurisdiction can be invoked to lead to a fight against that canker is envisaged under the law.
Okay. Then going forward, briefly, is the issue then? What happens? Because we have fighting corruption on one hand, also the same special prosecutor going back to deal with the court and the judiciary from which he's raised concerns. What then happens? What should be the approach going forward?
Especially Emefa when he says that the suggestion is that the judges are
ganging up against
him.
Yes, the special prosecutor should have known, and if he doesn't know, he should know by now, that fighting corruption is not an easy task. And it has never been easy in this country or any other country, And so you have to prepare your mind, you have to prepare your briefs, you have to look at all the loopholes, you have to, be up to the task to go to court. You can't adapt a metaphysical attitude towards fighting corruption because the people will find a way to thwart your efforts. So it's not going to be easy. You should learn from Martin Hamidou. Yeah, he was overzealous. He thought he could fight corruption, but corruption fought him. And successfully got him to resign. Because they didn't tell him to resign. But he was so frustrated to the point that he resigned. He felt he could not do the work. He was not given the opportunity to do the work. And so, anybody who will occupy the office, including Kisia Jabe, must know that in taking on this huge responsibility, the corruption system will go at you.
Okay, we are grateful for your time. That's Inu Safuseni. He was on the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament that actually put together the law that backs the OSP's office.
Those who do not understand tree, please forgive me. They say I'm a Ankwanoma. But they make cry about for it. Me hear me to me. I'm reswan.
Well, you know the song, right?
I do. One of my favorites, actually.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Then the OSP just dedicated that song to you.
I think we should dedicate it to him.
To him, rather. Yeah. Okay. It looks like he likes Daddy Lumba as well.
One of my favorites, again, in terms of... and George, your face here. George, you love Daddy Lumba?
Of course. And Kojenchi. So,
for me, I remember when growing up, this particular song, it's the... that's the one that I like. I just like the beat.
No, they're talking
about one. It's not this one.
Not that one.
Anyway, but what do you make of this? Wanted to share your thoughts with us? Please do so. 055-11-11997. George, what do you have in the headlines for business?
Well, events coming up in business. Bank of Ghana announces an increase in the minimum paid-up capital for credit reference bureaus by more than 100% to almost 6 million Ghana cedis. We're getting you more details on that one. And jobs advertising dailies pick up strongly compared to the same period for last year. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business.
Strategy
walking into the most anticipated wedding of the year. Only to see 7 other girls wearing your exact same outfit.
You are special and one of a kind, and that's why whether it's voice, data, or SMS, you get to enjoy personalized offers tailored to your specific needs with MTN Just For You. Dial *141# or select your options on the My MTN app to redeem your unique Just For You package on Ghana's best mobile network. MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Syntex tank. Syntex tank, stress-free. Syntex tank, reliable. Syntex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough.
For over 10 years, Old Mutual has been touching lives in Ghana. Whether you're a trader or a student, an entrepreneur or an employer, or nearing your retirement, we have the right financial solutions tailored just for you. Contact Old Mutual on 030-7000-600 or visit our website on oldmutual.com.gh to learn more. And let's realize your financial freedom together. 10 years of greatness, here for a lifetime. Old Mutual, do great things every day.
Media Sambisanda Moa. Etiam Ratiano, Mumu, Panet, Finamo, Podompe, Mumana Yakono. Eh, Quabna. No Mumu wants to just Mali, Mariana there. Eh, and the crow. Corporate Mirin and Budom, so you super excellent eba. I had a binding the Braille. Who see it in a mobile, some man I want it. Sir, I need Nakujun, you super excellent Chaco. Nenoni dear, a mouse, and we are credit fit of that. No, what you are sleeping, your mother feel you. Kojo, sir. Yeah. Pepsodent Heba and a Pepsodent Chaco. A baby, you're gonna natural.
FDIJ Jadion Katuyatu.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Keep buying your luckiest ticket with *712# as an individual, a group, an association, or even a community, and stand a chance of winning in the community draw or the ultimate draw on 23rd of December. Be the luckiest on *712# and win millions. Ticket sale starts on October 4th, 2023, and draw date is on 23rd December 2023. Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform. Win millions on *712#.
The luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
You're welcome back to Business on News Night. Now, the Bank of Ghana has announced an increase in the minimum paid-up capital for credit reference bureaus by some significant margin. There is more in the following report.
The Bank of Ghana, in a notice, said existing credit bureaus have up to January 2025 to meet this new capital requirement. However, the Bank of Ghana was quick to add that early recapitalization may be strongly encouraged. The central bank in the notice maintained that pending and new applications are, however, required to meet the requirement before it can secure the required license. They can do this by investing in assets determined by the Bank of Ghana. The regulator added that the non-compliance of this new minimum paid-up requirement shall be dealt with in accordance with the Credit Reporting Act. On reasons for this action, the Bank of Ghana argued that this is to strengthen the credit reporting regime and ensure that they are well capitalized to invest, to maintain strong information and systems to provide effective credit report services. These credit reference bureaus provide credit history on individuals and businesses that have gone a long way to aid in credit delivery and extension.
That is a Business Desk report. Now, the rate the Bank of Ghana sells its dollars to businesses are now inching closer to commercial banks and market rates. The central bank usually have a very low rate compared to what the central banks sell to their clients. The development had often left some arguing that forex bureaus, banks and businesses should use the central bank's transactional rates. However, a careful look at the rates being offered during yesterday's bulk or distribution auction showed the central bank rates are getting closer to the market rates. The bank are now selling a dollar at 12 Ghana cedis 5 pesos. The forex bureau, on the other hand, are selling a dollar at 12 cedis 35 pesos. Two other stories and SNIT contributions from private businesses have reached record levels. The Bank of Ghana data showed that these payments ended September 2023 hit 345 million Ghana cedis. There is more in this report.
This is the first time over the last 2 years that contributions from the private firms to SNIT have reached this level. Data from the Bank of Ghana showed that since the beginning of this year, there has been a strong pickup in terms of contributions from the private sector. At the beginning of this year, contributions was under 300 million Ghana cedis. However, it's now doing above 340 million Ghana cedis. In September 2022, contributions was pegged at around 260 million Ghana cedis. It is not clear for now what has been the major reasons for this spike. But can it be attributed to some of the aggressive marketing measures implemented by SNIT to contributions? Or maybe it's the step up in prosecutions in firms that are defaulting on payment? Others have also argued that it could be linked to the turnaround in the position of these businesses out there. This is because these firms should be paying these workers for them to set aside these funds as contributions to SNIT. Some have also maintained that these companies should be in a good position now compared to some 2 years ago to meet their obligations to SNIT when it comes to contributions.
And that is a Business Desk report. In a related development, the total number of jobs advertised in the dailies and the various social media platforms have picked up strongly. Data from the Bank of Ghana showed that it reached almost 300,000 ending October this year. It has gone up by almost 1,000 to this new position that was last month. But can this also be linked to things turning around for some businesses or just being impacted by developments on the larger economy? Now, the Ghana Tourism Authority is challenging claims that government hasn't done enough to deal with the state of bad roads leading to tourist sites in the country. The chief executive of the authority, Akwesi Agyeman, has been speaking to Joy Business.
That some of them have been done. I mean, I remember when I came in here, Kakum Park was the number one complaint that operators were talking about. We met with the Ministry of Tourism Roads through our minister then. We had engagements. They said they will fix Kakum. Kakum has been fixed. There are so many other areas that the roads have been fixed. I mean, I remember people were complaining about Boinre and all those places. So some of them have been fixed. But we don't live in an island. We live in a country where everybody's complaining about roads, and so it's priority. So what we have done in engagement with our minister and the Minister of Roads is what we call the tourism roads. So they've given us assurance that every year they will fix 50 kilometers of tourism roads. And so this year, for example, we have prioritized the road to Boti Waterfalls. That's also a very bad road now. We're looking at Japa, the road from Wa to Japa as another road. We have forgotten the roads, but I think there are some that we are prioritizing. So.
Akwesi Ajiman is the chief executive of the Ghana Tourism Authority. Let's turn our attention to the stock market. If you are an investor in Go, you lost 5 pesewas in the value of the share that you are holding right now. It's 1 Ghana cedi, 45 pesewas. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Evans and Emefa.
Thank you,
on the
George.
Dadalumba notes.
You still want that song? Later, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, George. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Let's do some of your messages. Kofi Seidu in Konongo says, Mr. Kisi Jabing, the special prosecutor's lamentation, has just reminded me of what the former special prosecutor Martin Amidu went through until his resignation. And this one from Comrade Issa Tamimu Mboko says the OSP's frustrations on prosecuting the bedroom cash has and then packing of the court stated yielding results in the packer. Really, Comrade, I'm not getting your message, but Benjamin Mensah Flow in Tema Newtown says, I'm disappointed in my teacher unions. I'm a teacher myself and totally against GES decision for first year's reporting dates. That's a story we'll get into shortly. Nanekia Mwabwating, Ablikuma Central says the special prosecutor should stop embarrassing himself with his frivolous allegations against the judges. He's only hiding behind the microphone to cover his shame. This one from Nana Spintex Road says the OSP, I think, is suffering what we, the common citizens, suffer from our Ghanaian judges. We welcome him to the Ghanaian judicial system. And William Cecil says the OSP, Peter's Ankwanuma lamentation brought tears down my face this evening. Some of your messages that you've sent in. We also have one, also Agbala and Efulefu in Yoruba literature mean effeminate and evil. Okay, so far the OSP's is disappointed still. I'm not getting your message as well, but many thanks for sending your messages in.
Let's do sports now, and Isbao is here with the latest. Hello, Isbao.
Hello, Ivan. So it's Champions League action, and tonight we have a big game coming up here on your superstation. It's Arsenal taking on Lens, and we'll bring you a live commentary of that. But there's some games already underway. Galatasaray versus Manchester United. Currently 2-1 for Manchester United, a game that they must win. And just half time now. At the moment is the time we're coming here. Half time, 2-1 for Manchester United, leading there. But there's some other games also coming up tonight. There's Real Madrid taking on Napoli, another crucial game in the Champions League over there. And just some bit of update from the game between Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle yesterday. The video assistant official who was responsible for that decision that led to Paris Saint-Germain getting the penalty to equalize that game has been suspended by UEFA, which because they believe that decision was erroneous and shouldn't have stood in the first place. On the local scene, there was some MTN FA Cup action today. Accra Heart of Folk played Nania FC. Nania FC belongs to the maestro Abedi Pele. Nania FC is in Division 1. I don't know if Emefa, you're a Heart of Folk fan. Nania FC is in Division 1. And they defeated Accra Heart of Folk in the FA Cup today. 4-3, it ended on penalties. And fans of Accra Heart of Folk were unhappy about it. And while the players were leaving the park after the game, this is how they reacted to the fans, the players. So that's some fans of Accra Heart of Folk. They're very disappointed with the team's performance today against Nania FC. And Accra Heart of Folk themselves, they are without a substantive coach. It's the assistant coach who is in charge of the team because they sacked their coach the Dutch tactician Martinus Koopman, and after 2 weeks, they are yet to get a replacement for him. And it's expected that following this poor performance, the handlers of the team will look to intensify their efforts to get a new coach. His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf were at the Boteman Sports Complex today to mark 100 days to the Africa Games that's expected to come off next year here in Accra. And we understand that the facilities will be ready come next month ahead of those games. That's it for sports. Emefa, brought to you by Pepsodent Herbal and Chaco.
Thank you very much, Musbal. Let's talk education. And tonight, parents and teacher unions are opposing government's decision for Form 1 students of the senior high school to report to school in less than a week after their placement was released. It's just 2 days ago that we announced that their placement had been released. And guess what? All the students, the first year students, are going back to school on the 4th of December, and they need to get ready. And parties have argued that this quick turnaround will impose considerable strain on both parents, the students themselves, and the teachers. We can hear from some parents.
What's the point asking children or school children to come to school on the 4th and then vacate when? Because Christmas is on the 25th, meaning that they are just going to be in school for just like 2 weeks. Look at the cost involved. I don't think it makes sense. It doesn't. It's too frustrating for parents. And how many parents are prepared? Because then they would have to go and shop for their children. So if today is Wednesday, the placement was yesterday, today is Wednesday, so you have Thursday, Friday and Saturday maybe to shop and then prepare your child to go to school on Monday. It's unrealistic.
Well, the teacher unions, including the Ghana National Association of Teachers, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, that's NAGRAT, the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, all of them really, in the joint statement said the time frame will put undue burden on the staff.
It also puts undue pressure on our workers, especially those who work in the kitchen, because they need some breathing space in life. In fact, we are just breaking officially by today, tomorrow. Then for them to come back to work again from Monday, it is a very big and an uphill task on the workers. So
we're yet to hear from the Ghana Education Service. Hopefully, parents would want that date to be changed. Maybe most of them are asking for after Christmas of next year, then they can go back to school. Let's do our clean air campaign.
We should. Now, 3 members of parliament are hoping to push the government to move faster to clean up the air Ghanaians breathe, with the private members' bill aimed at enshrining clean air as a fundamental human right. And Accra is Africa's fastest growing city, and air pollution from transport, industry and agriculture is becoming the growing hazard to our health, food supply and the climate. Now, the bill seeks to ignite a wider debate in the country that leads to groundbreaking change. Now, beat reporter Michael Ashale. There's more in the following report.
I don't know whether we have some law backing the pollution or not. I don't know, unless maybe you have to educate me.
That's Abraham Ni Odai, an assemblyman for Nkwantanaing West, who is responsible for the local governance of a part of Medina. Medina is home to a bustling bus terminal and frequently experiences prolonged traffic congestion. It's also home to one of the biggest markets in Accra.
How many cars do you think you have here? It's more I can't call, but we are getting more than almost about 500,000 cars here.
Data from air quality sensors dotted across the capital shows Medina has some of the most polluted air in the country. That comes as no surprise to Abraham. This is because the municipal environmental health officers are not well resourced.
Municipal assembly cannot do much. If a law has been passed from the parliament, it will cushion this thing to be sanitize the place. But with the environmental officers in our municipality, they can't do much.
The smoke is disturbing this area because it can give us cancer. It gives a lot of sickness.
The market is teeming with thousands of people. Many of them eat from food vendors that cook with charcoal or wood. The resulting smoke blankets the entire area, causing health risk for everyone here.
Indiscriminate burning, sometimes of rubbish. Look at this one. You can see the carbon. You can see under the exhaust pipe. You can see that all those exhaust emissions are all polluting the air.
NDC Member of Parliament for Medina and human rights lawyer Francis Xavier Sosu is one of a few legislators interested in the clean air space. He says the problem can no longer be left to the local assemblies to deal with. It's time for the national government to get serious about addressing the problems.
The state level our environmental protection vision has not been very clear. It is the state that must provide leadership. As a people, I don't think we have we have developed a clear-cut vision of our environmental conservation and protection, and I haven't seen like the direct set targets and whether we are actually achieving those targets.
Now let's talk about the Clean Ghana campaign. It's yielding positive behavioral changes as 8 out of 10 persons within the Accra metropolis have changed their approaches to sanitation in their communities. There's more in this report.
The Accra Metropolitan Assembly has quickened its steps to introduce star rating systems to improve sanitary conditions. Just like hotels receive stars, the AMA has commenced the assessment of public toilet facilities with a star rating system.
That was one of the episodes where the AMA was on inspection tour of some public toilet facilities. After 4 years of airing the Joy Clean Ghana campaign, the AMA has conducted a research into its impact on the audience. The survey was done in 3 sub-metros called clusters of the AMA.
250 respondents were selected from each of the 3 sub-metros for the study. Also, 30 respondents each from the 10 regions, making 300, were also interviewed, making a total of 1,050 respondents.
The study found that 83% of the respondents have had a change in behavior after the exercises.
83% of the respondents said they had had a change in behavior after following the Joy Clean Ghana exercises. Going deeper into the findings, 50% of the respondents said they are very careful about food safety now. 24% said they've stopped buying food from outside. 18% also said they have started doing the right things, with 8% of the respondents saying they have stopped selling in dirty environments.
The report concludes that a Joy Clean Ghana campaign brought life into the environmental health awareness in Ghana.
We are doing this, like I keep saying, as a continuous improvement measure. They will not be worried. It will rather put the operator and the cleaners on their toes, and it also gives some comfort to the user. So it's a win-win situation.
This report serves as a background for the Joy Clean Ghana campaign to expand into other areas in the country. The next phase of the exercise will see us coming to a place closer to you. For Joy News, Samuel Kojo-Brace, Accra.
Now, and just before we head out in what is evolving into a political spectacle, the upcoming parliamentary primaries in Okankwe North present a challenging battle. Raymond Nakwa has more.
The unfolding drama sees Nanama Dukua Isiama AJ, currently representing Ikuapem North in the eastern region, setting her sights on Okankwe North in the greater Accra region, but not without facing formidable contenders within her own party. Her decision to change constituencies has added a unique twist to the impending primaries. The deputy minister, once a key figure in the Kropon, is now seeking the trust and mandate of a different constituency, marking a political odyssey that challenges traditional party dynamics and intensifies the competition within the NPP. However, Amadukwa's journey is no walk in the park. She contends with 5 strong competitors within the party, each bringing unique credentials and party allegiance to the forefront. Notable among them are lawyer and 2-time aspirant Ken Kranche, former constituency treasurer and polling station executive Prince Owusu Mensah, and former deputy CEO for Maslog and prominent NPP communication team member Efia Kutu.
So what makes me unique is I have a big heart to love, I have a big heart to serve, and I don't believe getting into parliament is an honor. No, it's a place to serve. If you really understand why you have been called, you have not been called to come and say, that is a fiakoto for you.
But looming as the most formidable opponent is a former member of parliament for the area, Fusaini Issa, who is bent on working his way back to the legislature. Here's why.
The constituents, by and large, agree that when they gave me the opportunity the first time around, I made immense contribution to their living within the constituency. I contributed towards the development of education, health issues, sanitation issues, youth development issues, job creation issues within the constituency, and they have looked at the good works that I started the last time and have resolved.
The Okaigwe North NPP primaries transcend mere political contest. They are a litmus test of conviction and loyalty within the party. Can Ahmad Bukua convince the party faithfuls in Okaigwe North that she is their best choice, despite the shift from her original constituency? With legal concerns lingering in a diverse field of competitors, the stage is set for a historic battle that will undoubtedly shape the NPP's political landscape in the Greater Accra region.
And we have special results coverage for you this Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. You don't want to miss that here on your election headquarters. Enjoy the rest of your evening. My name is Mensah.
I am Emefa, Apawu, and the strong and sassy. You're up next. Please to stay.